Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes,
The
sir.
Dan Carters of podcasting. How are you guys?
Look, good as I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain. It's just it's the world is a weird place in rugby, especially, But how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Alluding to World Rugby there, but I'm doing well myself. Just quick announcements. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, so you can catch us there as well. Up front, completely honest. There's no notes today. I don't know how long this podcast. It's been a slow news week. Slow news week, as they say.
Yeah. Look. I think not really much to talk about except Babu Buyele, Tata is back.
Yeah, the man of the
Uh,
house.
man of the house is home. He's just gonna set the tone for the campaign. Because he
Yeah,
must, Vele, in this game. Even if he doesn't play the full 80, but his levels must be showing intent. That's what I'm expecting and hoping to see. And all around, like it's a good team, strong team, interesting
yeah.
selections.
Let's
You
dive
know,
deeper. Let's dive deeper. Obviously, Tuesdays, it's our days, not only the
mm,
podcast, but the team comes out.
yeah,
So there wasn't that much of a buzz today, but the team for me is more surprising than what we've seen maybe the past few weeks where there has been a buzz, because
mm,
Kolisi is back. He's captaining this
yes,
team. I wouldn't have thought he would have been back. I personally didn't have him coming back until the World Cup.
mm,
Same
yeah,
if I'm being honest as well, the same for Oxenche.
mm, yeah. Look, I think in the case of Sia, I think this is the start of the campaign, basically.
Yeah,
Building up to it, and when you look at teams, and I mentioned Scotland, Ireland, that you have. There's no time in the group to be, finding
yeah.
yourself, and finding your form. I think you gotta be in it. And I would imagine that's the thinking behind it and getting in prep for that. Even maybe Ox a bit too soon because I think we covered enough there. But maybe he's recovered well, so I'm okay with that. Just that extra game time. I'm more on the contrary surprised that kids off in Malherbe, yes, you just keep being bashed.
Yeah, no, those guys, they earn their money. They earn their money, those guys.
Yo, those guys are, I know, they're always on the grind, it's like, yeah, but I would have thought that they would have earned at least, a different sort of entry into the competition and having other guys sort of carry more of the load,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm still like we'll have to see because we'll see in the game. I think we'll know more after this game in terms of what we're looking at. Now
Yeah.
that it's official in terms of the squad, but a lot can still happen. Up until then. Like we know, a week is a long time in rugby, let alone 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, the guy that I would have thought would be in one of these two warm-up games is Jaden Hendrikse. It's the first time we're going to see him in a very long time, and
Mm.
it will be good to see him back. And
And I
thinking
think
about
there as well. Sorry, and I think there as well. I think it's more or less also the same sort of thinking, to make sure that at the time that tournament does kick off, he's good to go. I
yeah,
think I think that's important because they've hung their hat on him as well. You know.
dare I say this is 2 and 3 with Hendrikse and Williams and Reinach is fourth. We all know who's first there, so
Mm,
maybe
mm,
that's the thinking. And I mean Grant Williams as well. You have to think of him more in that coming off the bench role.
mm,
So yeah,
mm.
it preparations are underway, man.
Yeah, underway, and like you look at the consistency there a bit in the back line. Okay, you've got Kobe in now there at 11, but the centers, there's a bit more continuity going on there. Obviously, as well, they need to. I think it needs to get.
And
It
there's
needs
a
to
bit
get.
of revisionist history. There's a bit of revisionist history when it comes to
Mm,
Dialendi and Creel over the was it the World Cup, the Heineken, is it the
Yeah.
Heineken Mayor World Cup? Which one was it?
Yeah,
The World Cup.
2015.
Yes, yes.
Heineken Mayer.
There,
Yeah, Heineken Mayer, 2015. Yeah.
there's a bit of revisionist history when they were saying, yeah, no, they were ballers, those ones, with Dialende and Creel in the midfield. Come
Uh,
on, man. Come on.
no,
There's a
no,
bit of
no,
revisionist
no,
history, guys. I know we want
no.
to look back and say, yeah, no, there were a couple of young guys that were balling. No, they weren't. They weren't up to standard. They weren't
Yeah,
up to standard.
no, no. Look, they weren't. This continuity I'm talking about is just based off recent times, where
Yeah.
we wanted to see, because if he's going to be the main 13, we want the main 13 to be able to do the basics and more, but overall you can't really argue against this team. Interesting with Jean-Claude and RG Snyman. I think it'll be interesting.
The monster
Yeah,
combo.
yeah. So you can see that already there. That's a very intimidating lock pairing, and I think we should have enough to put the Welsh away. They'll be passionate because they'll be at home, but yeah, we should be. I think even looking at the bench that we have, again, Dwayne Vermeulen on the bench. I don't know how long. Maybe it's just a matter of just moving minutes around, but I don't know how long that's going to continue because I don't see him so much as a bench role.
But I
So
think that's ultimately the question of these two warm-up games is who is starting? If it's the knockouts tomorrow, who's starting? Obviously, you see here, like, there's guys, Mani, you would think so. Colby, you would think so. Jalendi Creel, definitely. Moody's been rewarded. But we're playing the All Blacks. Are you going to see Mapimpi? You know what I mean? Are you going to see Mapimpi over Moody? So really, he's going to be there. Dwayne and Visser, who's really the starter?
Yeah. That's true. I think already 7, Peter Steph, I think he looks most likely, 6, look, he's the captain, so we can already just bracket him in there.
Yeah.
And then I think there with the locks, it's also in the event that there's injury, want to see how this there's this combination, they play together, so they know each other. It's okay. Just there's a lot of
that's our starting front row. That's our starting front row, so we know.
I think it's just the other pieces of the puzzle. But then more than anything, it's going to come down to the execution, of everything. I think that's where these warm-up games, that's what we want to see. The execution, the intent, the building up into it. Because it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, they've reverted back to the bomb squad 6-2 split. So yeah, it's back to what we know and what we expect. Wales, personally, I don't see them being much of an opposition. They played England this weekend. I've got better things to do with my time than watch that game. I don't know if you thought, but I don't.
I didn't really caught a little bit of it, but look, I couldn't continue watching, and but just from just watching it back, highlights, and like I say, they'll be at home, they'll be passionate, they'll be looking to bounce back against England, and but we should have enough, to put them away. And at the end of the day, this is a test match, and we as supporters, we want to win. We expect it from this team because we believe in them, and they've got the ability. We may not always agree with certain selection decisions, but at the end of the day, the time is now where we just have to just support.
I think the two things that we want is a win, and we want Kolisi to walk off the pitch. He must walk off the pitch by himself. He must be unaided walking off that pitch. I think those are the only two things. From me, now that the dust has settled a bit, there is a bit of concern creeping in about how unbalanced the squad is. The two hookers, but I mean, the two hookers is not so much of a problem as who's gonna goal kick for us? And as Rassi said, the kickers will kick. But it was brought to my attention by one of the commenters on last week that there is no real goal kicker there, if we're being honest, besides Lubbock, who we saw, he can be off form.
Yes. I think definitely knockout tournaments and historically we've seen the value of a good goal kicker, a high percentage goal kicker, especially high 80s, 90% goal kicker. Lubbock, I believe that he can nail it, and I think it's just they basically what they're doing now is just keep on giving him the keys. He needs to get more comfortable in the car, and he's getting there. And even in that Argentina game where he corrected, where he missed, in those moments where yes, he made a mistake, but bounce back ability is there. He's shown he just, especially once with that backing, because we can see that they've got no choice anyway, but they do back him. So
well, they have spoken about other options at 10. They say Faf is a backup, Colby is a backup, Willie LaRue's a backup. Personally, as a Lions supporter, I've seen it was always a joyous moment, those garbage time minutes when the game is over, when they put Faf at 10. It's nice to see. It's a novelty. It's fun. You see the blonde hair flowing in the wind, catching and distributing. It's nice to see. It's quite fun, but I don't know if it's test level.
No, they mustn't play those kind of games. They're test level, man. I hear what they're saying. Yes, they can play they played their club, but from what they've been doing, it's been Lubbock, and then Willemse, even he knows that jersey. It's just he hasn't had as much time. But then, if he's got to step up, he'll have to do it. And it's not that he can't do it. So I think they must just let Willemse be the backup guy. Especially Pollard is not going to be there. Not going to make it. Then let Willemse cover. Just as he is on the bench, cover 10, 15, and leave Faf at 9. I mean,
you don't want to see him turn the years back. He was about to cliff fly half there. You don't want to see him turn the years back.
They must wait a minute, a little bit. They must just wait a minute, because I think that's also the issue, is there's those game drivers. It is a vulnerability, that's there. And rightly so, balance of the squad will be in question. But I also think, like I said, there's still a lot of things that are still to happen in the coming weeks, before the actual kickoff for the tournament. But let's see, and hopefully it is something that they can cover. Should injury happen, we've seen injuries happening to other guys and other teams. So it's a tight one, but I still think we'll be okay, man. I still think we'll be okay. We've got the
very, very confident, very, very confident. Surprised at how quiet it has been this week. No real buzz around the box or the match in general.
Yeah, because I think everybody knows it's the warm up. I think it's the warm up. People are just waiting more for the kickoff. I think you'll probably see the buzz. That All Blacks game. Because now it's getting closer again. But
there's
I think
some debts that need to be paid.
Yeah. So I think really that's what people are waiting for. But there's important things that are surrounding this particular game. Especially setting the marker for the World Cup. I think that's important for the Boks.
Any closing remarks, Chris?
All I gotta say is, if there was ever any doubt, about World Rugby and the biasness and whatnot, I think we've seen that. You shouldn't doubt that there is corruption at World Rugby. Just like there was investigations at FIFA and whatnot and whatnot, they must investigate those old white guys there in England and Ireland. No, it's true. They must, because, there's some things that are not making sense, where, there's too many things that are left to interpretation. You know what I mean? You know, but for some it's interpreted one way, for others another way. So we just want consistency. That's all. Consistency in the application of the laws, the rules that you are giving and prescribing, you know? So you can see they're desperate for a Northern Hemisphere win in the World Cup. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah,
And we will see more. We will see more of it in the World Cup. All I'm saying, we must just be expecting to be mad at referees during the World Cup. We're going to be mad, I'm telling you. Because this is what they're doing now already. Before it even starts. If they don't fix it, look, they're just running the game, you know? That's we shouldn't even be discussion. But yeah.
Alas. From me, it's just Jessica Mutaung. Keep your hands off Rachel's man. Keep your hands off Rachel's man. We don't need a scandal before the World Cup. Keep your hands off him.
Hey, Baba, please, Baba, now, just, you know,
yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.